I thought I was going to see you with pink hair.
No, that went several months ago now. My gosh, time has flown by.
I've been following you on Instagram. I see you're in Ibiza. How did you do at the beginning of all this craziness in the pandemic with quarantine? I know you did Beauty and the Beast sing along, which was fun.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was in Florida. I spent the whole quarantine of lockdown in Florida. I tried to make the most of it. I tried to enjoy the peace and tranquility and the lack of emails and the lack of work, and there was no any preoccupation for me at all, so I just embraced that. And yeah, I tried to look at the positive aspects of being stuck at home and going for long walks and thinking a lot and meditating and being creative. And it was also nice to be able to you know support the different charities and our health service in the UK, and give them a bit of a tap on the back and encouragement and say thank you as the months and weeks and months were going by. So, nice to say thank you, even though I wasn't in the UK, just to reach out and keep everybody's spirits up as much as we could.
So what were you binging? Everyone was binging something. What did you binge?
Oh, well, I am terrible. I'll start something and then I won't finish it. I've always been the same. But obviously when you have nothing to do, it became quite a thing. Like in the evenings, we would watch a show, and by the end of the week, we would have finished the show, And we started with Ozark. I hadn't seen it, and I wanted to watch it. And so we watched the whole 3 seasons in about 2 weeks. And then we moved on to Little Fires Everywhere, which was fantastic. Then I watched the morning show, which I had not got around to watching. That was brilliant. And
yeah,
my friend Jennifer Aniston, which I love to say, my friend Jen, well, everybody's fantastic in it, but I thought her performance was just spectacular.
Let's talk about The Alienist, which I did binge the new season.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's really good.
Everything about this is disturbing.
What's amazing about it, I know this sounds silly, I'm old-fashioned, I guess, but it's just the attention to detail. So incredible. Obviously, the wardrobe to just, Dakota Fanning in her office. It's like I almost wanted to pause it just to see all the little things that are in it. Each episode's a movie.
I remember walking onto the set for the first time. I've worked on some incredible sets. I've been very lucky to work on huge productions where I've seen, that kind of detail, that production detail. And this blew me away. It was as good, if not better, than some of the big movie sets that I've worked on.
Yeah.
So even my character, I even had insignias on my hankies in my pocket.
Really?
And and I had like a drawing kit, because obviously he was an illustrator in the first season. And they'd made this incredible folder with handmade paper inside and all the things that an artist from the late 1800s, turn of the century would have had. And they were all authentic, real historical pieces. And you just, the people that do that kind of thing, they are artisans. And they take pride in what they do. And I guess when you're given a nice big budget, it must be just a joy to go shopping. And we were obviously in Budapest, and I know that on weekends, she would go to Vienna and to Prague and to source, pieces for our costumes or for the sets, or, it was really, really, really special.
People might think like, okay, you put on the wardrobe, you see a horse and buggy and that's it. But when you're reaching into your pocket and seeing a monogram or opening that case and there are the drawings, how does that just must completely change how it informs your work?
Absolutely. I mean, for a really simple example was a pocket watch. People don't have pocket watches anymore. Well, some people do, but that he has a pocket watch. So to check the time, he would have to pull it out of his hand, and the watch would have to be facing inward so that when he lifted it onto his hand, it was looking at him and not the other way around. And it had a chain, and there was lots of little physical affectations that I acquired for John Moore's character, from how he was dressed to what pieces of utensils that he had to his character. It was really, really, it does inform me a lot. I've always said this about costumes. They are the final layer of an actor's character, and it can make you stand differently. It can make you feel completely different. If you put on a uniform, or I played a lieutenant commander of the American U.S. Navy a couple of years ago, and it absolutely changed everything about me. I was like, I stood differently, I talked differently, I felt this air of, command about me. And with John Moore, I felt very eloquent and very, like a true gentleman. So it did exactly the job that it was supposed to do.
Because the wardrobe, the high-waisted pants that you wore, and the vests,
and the hard collar, it was like a cardboard collar, and braces. And also, one other thing is, you can't get dressed alone. No gentleman from that time would have been able to dress themselves.
Right.
It was extraordinary. So they all had to have somebody to help them, especially Dakota. I mean, she had an army of people to get out of that costume every night.
Yeah, I just kept. I get fascinated by trying to find the details. So, like when you're on the street, I'm looking, and I'm from New York, so I'm like looking for New York things, and it's really beautiful, and it's just the lighting in the series. You go to Dakota's office, and it's this darker.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Magical. Yeah, no, they did a fantastic job. And tell you what else is very impressive, I found, is the subtle but brilliantly effective use of CGI. So obviously we had this incredibly expansive real set, but to extend the streets, when we're shooting, there would be a huge blue canvas at the end of the street. And you always wonder, what's that going to be when the show comes out? And to watch the finished rendered version of what that street looks like, that takes my breath away. Wow. It's just like, that's really clever. How physical can merge with digital, like seamlessly. No one will ever know. No,
I wouldn't until you just told me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that engagement party scene.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
First of all, was it real cake?
Yeah.
It was so over the top and just full of pomp and circumstance. Tell me about what into that scene, into that room.
Well, that building in itself is an incredibly grand space. We used it in season 1, actually, but it looked nothing like that. It was completely dressed differently. We also used many rooms off that huge big hall where the engagement party was. But it's always fun when you do a scene where there's lots of extras, there's lots of movement, and it was musicians and cake and a car and like speeches and a huge sweeping staircase. And I know everybody had a lot of fun shooting that one because it was basically a night shoot. We did it through the night because there were so many windows in that place. We'd have to cover them all up if we did it in the day. But yeah, it was magical. And also, the attention to the research that the set designers made did to talk about the cake, for example, that cake that they all put their hands inside the house to grab stuff. I mean, that's all from stories and from historical things that happened during that time at very famous people's parties, and to replicate one of the first cars as well. It's really impressive. But I love those scenes. Love them very much.
So what did they said about another season? Do you want to do another season?
Never say never, because I think season 2 has come out very, very well. And I think people really will embrace the new story and the new plot and the new characters. And it's always very sad when you like the people you work with and you like the character that you're playing. It's very sad when you have to say goodbye to them when you're on set. And you go through that final farewell, which obviously we have in this show as well, episode 8. And I watched it recently, and it took me a little emotionally. I took my breath away a bit, just to think that's them gone. Maybe they might not come back, but you never know. You never know. I think if people like it enough, and there's a good story to tell, and another murder to solve, we might see that threesome pop up again. Maybe, who knows?
But how now though, when like you talk about a scene with all those extras,
Yeah.
it's now every time I look at something like that, I'm like, when will we be able to film something like that again?
Well, yes, that is the biggest question of all, isn't it? I mean, I'm about to start a television show in Australia, and we all have to be quarantined in a hotel room. I can't see anyone for 2 weeks. I have to be tested every other day. Everything is going to be delivered to my room, and I have to stay in a room in Australia and not leave it for 2 weeks, just so that we can then be free to go and shoot something. So if that's the sort of thing that has to happen for a very small cast, actually, I can't imagine how they will be able to do it. I mean, we are going to have to come around to working this out somehow, right, in the future. But who knows how that's going to work, when it will happen. I mean, it's just it's mind-blowing to think what we've been through and how it's changed so many aspects of our daily life and our work and our careers, and there's still no end in sight. I mean, that's the scary bit.
So is Australia 9 Perfect Strangers? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
My favorite Nicole Kidman.
Yes. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy. Nicole Kidman, some crazy resort spa woman.
Yeah. It's such a great book, and the script, David E. Kelly has done a brilliant job bringing these characters from the page to a script. I mean, a really difficult job to adapt books. I don't know where you would begin, but he's done a really great job, and it's going to be a fun experience. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to live in Australia for 6 months. Hopefully it'll be nice and sunny and beach days and a COVID-free life, I hope, for everybody.
What about the pressure, though? You're going Big Little Lies, Nicole Kidman, to David E. Kelly, Big Little Lies, same author. Do you feel that pressure? Like, people are going to say, is this the next Big Little Lies?
Yeah, no pressure there. I think it doesn't feel anything like Big Little Lies at all. I don't feel there is any comparison to be drawn there. I don't think. Maybe it'll feel different when you see it, but we're jumping into we have a caliber already set up of what the work the work is, and we've seen it, so it'll be interesting. It's very funny. It's a very funny story. It's very dark, but it's incredibly funny, which I'm excited about, because I like comedy, and I like dark comedy, and I don't get to do very much of it, or I haven't done so much of it.
You haven't done much comedy.
No. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But just going to try and make the best thing we can, and hopefully people will enjoy it. But we are starting with a brilliant cast, and obviously I'm a big fan of Nicole's and Melissa, and a few of the other actors that haven't been announced. But it's a really interesting mix of people, and great talented folk are involved. So the cocktails, the ingredients are all there, so it could be a tasty cocktail. Who knows?
And I have to ask you, of course, about Beauty and the Beast prequel. What's happening? Is it happening? Have you heard new songs? When do you start production? Tell me everything.
Well, I can't tell you a huge amount, but I'll tell you that it is happening. Josh and I have read 3 episodes, I think, 2 or 3 episodes now. We've heard some of the new songs written by Mr. Menken himself. We are so excited about this. It's going to be a joy to work with Josh again. I mean, me and Josh have chemistry. As friends, we had it, and then luckily it transferred to the screen, and people got it. They got the character. So it's going to be a joy to bring him to to life a new story that no one knows. It's all come together very nicely, rather quickly, actually. And we hopefully production will start sometime next year when Josh and I are going to have the window to shoot it. Yeah.
So are you surprised to learn what Gaston's backstory is? How about who are we going to see cameos from? Are we going to
Oh my God. I mean, a smorgasbord of cameos. Can you imagine? And you never know who will pop up in this show. You never know.
Did you ever think when you were making the movie that, you know what, there's a limited series in here for a backstory?
Weirdly, because we were the sort of the fun, we were the characters that people laughed at, we would often talk about, at home with Gaston and LeFou, or LeFou and Gaston go on a road trip, or LeFou and Gaston have a cooking show, or a men's healthcare chain. It went on and on and on. And then I think that fans put our names together and made Gafou. So they've got Brangelina and all those different. Now there's a Gafou. So no, we didn't think it, but we joked about it a lot. So the fact that it's now happening is just a joy. I mean, Josh and I have been wanting to work together again for a very long time. So we have a film with Netflix, and now we have this Disney Plus thing, which is going to hopefully be a joy to make, to step back into the world of Disney and the music of Alan Menken and the characters which we totally loved. And it's going to be fun. I'm very excited about it.
And then one last question. Tell me about the first audition you went on, whether you got the role or not.
My first audition. Oh, I remember my first audition was for a musical called La Cava, which was written by a woman called Dana Broccoli, who was the wife of Cubby Broccoli, who produced James Bond, and whose daughter is Barbara Broccoli, who is now the producer. And I was 20 years old, I think. I just graduated from college, and it was my first audition. And I went into their offices on Park Lane in London, in this grand building, which is basically the offices of James Bond, the film. And I sang in front of a huge conference table with all of them watching. And the musical director turned up he said, I'm going to put this up. I can see that you can sing higher. We're going to change the key. And I just had to sit there and hope to God that my voice wouldn't crack, because it was a huge song. And I went home that night, and the following morning I got the job, and I played the juvenile lead. Yeah. And my character was called Theodomir.
Theodomir?
Theodomir. Yeah. And I had the finale song, which was magical. And I think my friends and family saw it about 100 times. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. This was great. Thank you for taking
my pleasure
time. Congratulations on the series again. Like I said, my husband and I watched it, and we really got into it. We were just sitting there with we just wanted to wear your clothes. I mean, it was all about
yeah, I know. The wardrobe is beyond. Yeah.
What did you bring home from set? What do you bring home from a set like that? Do you remember
things? So I started to collect the rings of my characters. Only because I seem to have a ring with all my characters. They all had a ring. Dracula had a ring. Gaston had a ring. John Moore had a ring. Mm-hmm. And I have a really beautiful collection of one-off rings, and my ring has my initials crests. I had the crest on John Moore's ring. So I kept that. That's the thing. I mean, I asked for it as well. I'm a good boy. I don't steal props. But that's what I kept from John Moore's character. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. Have a good one.
All right.
Stay safe.
Take care.
Well. Take care.
Bye.